The United Kingdom is one of those countries people mention constantly, but often understand only in fragments. Is it Britain? Is it England? Is it the same thing as Great Britain? The answer is more interesting than a simple name. The United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland is a country made up of 4 nations: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. England is the largest by population, and London is both England's capital and the capital of the entire UK. But the other nations are not just regions. Scotland has Edinburgh, Wales has Cardiff, and Northern Ireland has Belfast as their national capitals. Each has its own identity, history, and, in different ways, its own political institutions. So the UK is not a single uniform bloc. It is a state built out of layers: geography, monarchy, parliament, law, empire, and national identity all stacked on top of each other. Geographically, the UK sits off the northwestern coast of mainland Europe. It includes the island of Great Britain, which contains England, Scotland, and Wales, plus the northeastern part of the island of Ireland, which is Northern Ireland. Around it are the Atlantic Ocean, the North Sea, the English Channel, the Celtic Sea, and the Irish Sea. This island position mattered enormously. It helped protect Britain from many continental invasions, while also pushing it toward the sea. Ports, shipping, naval defense, and trade became central to its development. The UK also has a land border with the Republic of Ireland, which remains politically important because Northern Ireland's status is tied to some of the most sensitive questions in British and Irish history. Even before talking about kings, parliaments, or empire, the map already explains a lot. Britain was close enough to Europe to be shaped by it, but separate enough to develop a distinct maritime path. The story begins long before the modern United Kingdom existed. The British Isles have been inhabited since the Neolithic period, meaning human communities were building, farming, and shaping the landscape thousands of years before written British history. Then, in AD 43, the Roman conquest of Britain began. Roman rule brought roads, towns, military forts, trade networks, and new administrative structures, especially in what is now England and Wales. But Rome did not permanently define the islands. Between the late 4th and early 5th centuries, Roman authority withdrew. After that came waves of Anglo-Saxon settlement beginning around 450, reshaping language, kingdoms, and culture. This early period matters because Britain was not born as one nation. It was a patchwork of peoples and territories, repeatedly reorganized by migration, conquest, and local power. The later UK would inherit this deep pattern. Unity was never automatic, it had to be constructed. One of the most decisive moments came in 1066, when the Normans conquered England. The Norman conquest did not create the United Kingdom, but it transformed England's ruling class, legal culture, land ownership, and connections to continental Europe. Over time, England developed into a powerful monarchy with institutions that would later influence the entire British state. But monarchy itself did not remain absolute. In the 17th century, especially through the English Civil War, the power of the crown was dramatically challenged. The conflict was about more than personalities. It raised a central question: who ultimately governed, the monarch or representatives in parliament? The long-term result was a reduced role for the monarchy and a stronger parliamentary tradition. That struggle became one of the defining features of the British political model, not the abolition of monarchy, but its containment inside a constitutional system. The United Kingdom as we know it emerged through unions, not in one sudden act. In 1707, the Kingdom of England and the Kingdom of Scotland united under the Treaty of Union, creating the Kingdom of Great Britain. This was a major political step because it joined 2 historic kingdoms under a shared parliament. Wales had already been integrated with England earlier, so the new Great Britain effectively brought together England, Wales, and Scotland. Then, in 1801, the Acts of Union incorporated the Kingdom of Ireland, creating the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. But that arrangement did not last in its original form. Most of Ireland left the UK in 1922 as the Irish Free State. In 1927, the state's title was updated to the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. The name itself is therefore a historical record of union, separation, and compromise. The UK's political system today is a constitutional monarchy and parliamentary democracy. That means there is still a monarch, but political power is exercised through elected institutions and constitutional conventions. Unlike countries with a single written constitution, the British system relies on statutes, traditions, court decisions, and political norms. Parliament is central, and government depends on parliamentary support. At the same time, the UK is not legally uniform in every respect. It has three distinct jurisdictions: England and Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland also have devolved governments and legislatures that handle various domestic matters. This creates a complicated balance. The UK is one sovereign state, but parts of it have their own political voices and legal traditions. That is why debates about devolution, independence, and national identity remain active rather than settled. The United Kingdom became historically powerful not just because of politics, but because it industrialized first. It was the first industrialized country, and that changed everything. Industrialization meant factories, mechanized production, coal, iron, railways, steam power, mass manufacturing, and new forms of finance. Britain's agricultural prosperity, trading position, industrial capacity, and technological achievements reinforced one another. Goods could be produced at scale, transported by ship and rail, financed through London, and sold around the world. London rose in the 19th century as the world's principal financial center, giving Britain influence far beyond its physical size. This is crucial. The UK did not become a global power only through conquest or diplomacy. It became powerful because it combined industry, trade, finance, technology, and naval reach at exactly the moment the modern global economy was taking shape. The 19th century and early 20th century were the height of British global dominance. During the period often called Pax Britannica, roughly from 1815 to 1914, Britain was the world's foremost power. Its navy protected trade routes, its merchants operated across continents, and its empire expanded into the largest empire in history. At its peak in the 1920s, the British Empire covered around a quarter of the world's landmass and included around a quarter of the world's population. That scale is difficult to imagine today. It meant British law, language, administration, railways, schools, borders, and commercial networks touched societies across the globe. But empire was not a neutral achievement. It involved conquest, extraction, hierarchy, and resistance, alongside infrastructure, trade, and institutional transfer. To understand the modern UK, you have to understand both the power it accumulated and the consequences that power left behind. The British Empire did not disappear overnight. It weakened through war, cost, resistance, and changing global politics. The First World War and Second World War both placed enormous pressure on Britain's economy and military capacity. Britain helped win both conflicts, but victory came at a price. The country emerged from the wars less able to maintain imperial dominance, while anti-colonial movements grew stronger across Asia, Africa, the Caribbean, and elsewhere. After the Second World War, decolonization accelerated. Many former colonies became independent states, often keeping links through the Commonwealth, but no longer ruled from London. This transition transformed Britain's role. It moved from imperial center to post-imperial power, still influential, still wealthy, still globally connected, but no longer the commanding hub of a world empire. Much of modern British foreign policy, migration, culture, and identity is still shaped by that transition. Despite the loss of empire, the UK remains one of the world's major economies. It ranks among the largest economies by nominal GDP and is one of the world's largest exporters and importers. Its economy is advanced and heavily connected to global markets. London remains a major financial center, especially in banking, insurance, investment, law, and professional services. The UK also has strong universities, research institutions, creative industries, aerospace and defense sectors, pharmaceuticals, and high-value services. This economic profile reflects its history. The country's earlier role in trade and finance did not vanish, it evolved. The UK today is not the factory of the world in the way it once was, but it remains deeply embedded in global flows of capital, knowledge, media, law, and business. Its influence is often less visible than imperial rule, but still significant. The UK is also a military and diplomatic power. It is a nuclear state and has one of the highest defense budgets in Europe. Its armed forces are smaller than during the imperial era, but still capable, professional, and internationally active. The UK is involved in numerous international organizations and alliances, and its permanent role in major global institutions gives it influence in security and diplomacy. This matters because power today is not measured only by territory. It is measured by alliances, intelligence networks, military capacity, diplomatic access, financial systems, and the ability to shape international rules. Britain's global reach is therefore a mixture of old and new power. The empire is gone, but networks remain, defense partnerships, Commonwealth relationships, legal traditions, intelligence cooperation, and diplomatic experience all contribute to the UK's continued status as a great power. Perhaps the UK's most durable influence is cultural. The English language is one of the world's most important global languages, and Britain played a major role in spreading it through empire, trade, education, and media. British literature, theatre, cinema, music, art, sport, law, and political ideas have had worldwide impact. Many former colonies inherited or adapted British legal and parliamentary systems. The UK also helped shape modern sports culture, from football traditions to cricket and rugby. Its soft power is not just nostalgia for old institutions. It is visible every time British universities attract international students, British media reaches global audiences, British music circulates worldwide, or common law legal systems influence business and governance. The United Kingdom is therefore best understood as a layered power, four nations, one state, shaped by union, industry, empire, decline, adaptation, and a cultural reach that remains far larger than its map. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.